question.
Yes.
If it pleases you. Our understanding was that we would be afforded the opportunity to make an opening statement. We think that, and we prepared on that basis. And we would like the opportunity to make that statement. Would you allow us?
The committee discussed that earlier. We feel we do have a lot of questions, and we hope that all that you would wish to say will come out during the course of questioning. If you feel that is not the case, then you can make a statement at the end. Excuse me, could we not have that, please?
Well, in that case, we would also like to submit the statement in writing, if it pleases you.
That would be perfectly acceptable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Could we please remove the people holding up notices?
Has anybody else got a piece of paper they're going to hold
Right, after that brief interruption, we will begin. Good afternoon, everybody. This is a special meeting of the Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee. It is a follow-up to the inquiry which the committee held in 2009 into press standards, privacy and libel, during which we took evidence on the extent of phone hacking which had taken place in the news of the world. In our report last year, we stated that we thought it was inconceivable that only one reporter had been involved. In the last few weeks, it has emerged that not only evidence has come out which I think has vindicated the committee's conclusion, but also abuses have been revealed which have angered and shocked the entire country. It's also clear that Parliament has been misled. We are very conscious on the committee that there is an ongoing police investigation and possible criminal proceedings to follow, and this committee would not wish to jeopardise that. However, we are encouraged by the statements that have been made by all the witnesses this afternoon that they wish to cooperate with the committee and help us to establish the truth. So, as our first witnesses this afternoon, can I welcome the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of News Corp, Rupert Murdoch, and the Deputy Chief Operating Officer and Chairman and Chief Executive of News Corp International, James Murdoch. Can I also thank you for making yourselves available to the committee this afternoon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're more than prepared to.
Thank you. Perhaps I might start with Mr. James Murdoch. You made a statement on the 7th of July in which you stated that the paper had made statements to Parliament without being in the full possession of the facts, and that was wrong. You essentially admitted that Parliament had been misled in what we had been told. Can you tell us to what extent were we misled and when you became aware of that?
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. And first of all, I would like to say as well just how sorry I am and how sorry we are to particularly the victims of illegal voicemail interceptions and to their families. It's a matter of great regret of mine, my father's, and everyone at News Corporation. And these are standards, these actions do not live up to the standards that our company aspires to everywhere around the world. And it is our determination to both put things right, make sure these things don't happen again, and to be the company that I know we have always aspired to be. As for my comments, Mr. Chairman, and my statement, which I believe was around the closure of the News of the World newspaper.
Before you get to that, I would just like to say one sentence. This is the most humble day of my life.
Okay, thank you.
The statement around the closure of the News of the World newspaper, where I stated that that the company had not been in full possession of the facts when certain statements were made to this committee, was referring to the emergence of new facts, largely that came about at the end of 2010 as the due process of a number of civil trials reached their point where document disclosure and evidence disclosure made it apparent to the company and to myself at that time that indeed there was reason to believe that potentially more people had been involved in the News of the World illegal voicemail interceptions from before. that was new evidence or new information at the time that postdated the 2009 hearings. And that is what I was referring to. Subsequent to our discovery of that information in one of the civil trials at the end of 2010, which I believe was the Sienna Miller case, civil trial around illegal voicemail interceptions, the company immediately went to look at additional records around the individual involved. The company alerted the police, who restarted on that basis the investigation that is now underway. And since then, the company has admitted liability to victims of illegal voicemail interceptions, has apologized unreservedly, which I repeat today, to those victims. And the company also set up a compensation scheme independently managed by a former high court judge to be able to deal with legitimate claims coming from victims of those terrible incidents of voicemail interceptions. And those are the actions that were taken as soon as the new evidence emerged. So when I made the statement about not being in the full possession of the facts, it was that those facts at that point were still in the future, and it was in the due process of that civil trial or the civil litigation process that evidence really emerged for us, and we acted, and the company acted as swiftly and as transparently as possible.
When this committee took evidence in 2009, we heard from the managing editor of News of the World, Stuart Kuttner, the legal manager of News International, Tom Crone, the News of the World editor, Colin Myler, the former editor, Andy Coulson, and Les Hinton, former chairman of News International. All of them told us that there had been a thorough investigation, no evidence had ever been found that anybody else was involved. That clearly was not correct. Were any of them lying to this committee?
Mr. Chairman, the company relied on three things throughout for a period of time up until the new evidence emerged. The company relied on a police investigation in 2007, and this is before, I'll recount this to try to take us back to that area. This is before I was involved. I became back involved in News Corporation and News International Matters at the end of 2007. In the 2007 period, there was a police investigation. Successful prosecutions were brought against two individuals, and the editor of the News of the World resigned. And the company relied on both the police having closed the investigation and repeated assertions that there was no new evidence for them to reopen their investigation. The company relied on the PCC, which had had a report and had said that there was nothing more to this at the time. And the company relied on the legal opinion of outside counsel that was brought in related to those matters, who, with respect to their review, had issued a clear opinion that there was no additional illegality other than the two individuals involved before. And the company relied on those facts, and for the company in 2008 and 2009, it was not clear that there was a reason to believe that those matters were anything other than settled matters and in the past.
So is it your testimony to this committee that the individuals who gave us evidence in 2009, none of them knew at that time what had been going on?
I do not have direct knowledge of what they knew and at what time, but I can tell you that the critical new facts, as I saw them and as the company saw them, really emerged in the production of documentary information or evidence in the civil trials at the end of 2010. And the duration from 2008 or 2007, I should say, to the end of 2010, and the length of time it took for that to come clear and for that real evidence to be there is a matter of deep frustration. Mine, I have to tell you, I know and I sympathize